Welcome to the G Code, the podcast that you go to get the pretty, the ugly, and the grind to success. There's always a story to be told, and remember, everything that glitter ain't gold. So understand this. Remember, there is no need for the cheat code when you have the G Code. This episode of the G Code is brought to you by ADRI.V Beauty. It is a premium hair brought to you by the founder of BET. Quality you deserve at a price you will love. Backed by a 30-day money-back guaranteed. You can visit ADRI.V Beauty at ZARIBEAUTY.com. Well, it's time for us to jump into the G Code. If you're ready for it, like to hear it, here it go.
What's up, everybody? This your man Troy from the Capital Music Group, and you are now tuned in with your girl ADRI.V, the Go Getta, on the G Code.
Hey, what's up, my go-getters? It is me, ADRI.V, the Go Getta, and welcome to another episode of the G Code, where we give you the pretty, the ugly, and the grind to success, because everything that glitter ain't gold, and every story has not been told. So today, stepping into the G Code, I got none other than a Grammy-nominated music producer, songwriter extraordinaire, fly guy, straight from my hometown of Buffalo, Mr. J. Keyz on the line. What's up, homie?
What's good? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. You see, I had to give you that certified intro there. I just feel like I'm missing more.
Word. That's love. I appreciate it. You already know.
Absolutely. So, before we even jump into who you are, all the great things you did, give these people a background of exactly who J. Keyz is at his core.
Word. Well, I'm just a kid. I'm 26 now. I'm a kid from Buffalo, New York. Grew up there my entire life, you know what I mean? I grew up really in church, and that's kind of what gave me the love of music. I started playing drums and then the keyboard and everything like that. And yeah, man, I moved, I graduated high school in 2009. I moved to Atlanta, came out here for school, for music, of course, and I just used school to learn more and network and meet different people. And, the rest is kind of history. Everything kind of just started happening from there. It's been a blessing.
Absolutely. It definitely is a blessing because, so many people decide to take such a jump and move. Well, I'm not going to say so many do. So many people have a desire to want to make a jump and move, but they don't, take that necessary jump. So how was that? Because I know for me, I've made some moves that was very scary in my early ages. And it's like, you're not thinking about it, but exactly coming from your own self, what was that jump like? Graduating high school and just like, yo, I'm out.
Well, it's crazy because I knew in 9th grade that I wanted to leave Buffalo. You know what I'm saying? I knew then. So when it came to going to school somewhere, my parents already knew that I was ready to get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Just to explore different things. The move was not easy at all. You know what I mean? When I moved down here, I didn't have no money. I didn't have no car. And if you know anything about Georgia or Atlanta, like, you need a car down here. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Everything is spread out. So I didn't have no money. I had no car. I was walking to school every day and just working on beats at the school and then coming home when the school closed. You know what I'm saying? So it was just, I understand why people are so afraid. I was afraid, but I was ready at the same time. You know what I mean?
And sometimes you just got to feel the fear and do it anyway.
Right, exactly.
That's exactly what it is. So, okay, so you went to college. So I'm seeing that you went to, the Art Institute of Atlanta. How was that?
It was cool, man. A lot of people ask me, why did I go to school? Really, that was my only way that I could leave Buffalo. That was my only way my parents were comfortable coming down here. So I went to school. So I went to school, and like 2 years into school, stuff started moving for me. You know what I mean? So I had a song on the radio. My first one, Mario, Let's Talk, was on the radio, and I'm in class. You know what I mean? So that was kind of crazy. And people ask me then, like, man, you don't need it, man, you good? And I was like, I'm going to just go in and get my degree, get my bachelor's, because I don't never want to put no limitations on myself.
Yes.
I want to be as great as I can, as possible. And then I also did it for my mother. I mean, she was like, anything to get that piece of paper. So that's why I went.
Perfect. All right. So you said that you did it for your mother. Now, so many people, their parents will push them and say, hey, you need to go to school. You need to do this. And some folks don't really do it for their parents. But what made you, say that? And another thing is when you said you never wanted to put a limitation on yourself. I say that all the time because in like radio, in this industry, I'll say music and entertainment, period. You really don't need a degree. You don't need it because they're not really checking for it. They're checking for your ability, your experience. And so, like you said, for me, I always decided to make sure that I had the education so that nobody could ever say, oh, this is why. So when you said you also did it for your mom, what made you hold that for her? Like, was she one of those mothers like, look, little boy, you better get that degree. I ain't playing with you.
Nah, that's just exactly what she was, because at the time she didn't really understand how big music could be. You know what I mean? Of course, she believed in me. Of course, she knew whatever I wanted to do, I'd be great at it. But she didn't really understand it until I got into it and things started moving. You know what I'm saying? So at that time, she was just like, you need to go get your degree. You know what I'm saying? And then, she was, my mom, she just got her degree, 2 years ago? So, my parents, they were just pushing me to be, better than what they were and do what they didn't do at the time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So, that's a beautiful thing. And speaking of that degree, now, how do you feel, after you've graduated, getting your degree, and it's like, okay, now what? You said you already had a song that was on the radio with Omarion. And then what were the next goals? Because it's like, okay, once you reach that milestone of knocking out that degree, because that was a goal of yours, what was the next? And what did you jump into next?
So for me, when I was in school, I already knew that producing, because like I said, I was already doing my thing.
Right.
And by the time I graduated, that's when I had the Beyonce and I had the Grammy nod and everything. So I already knew what it was, but school opened up my eyes to so much more that's out there, to film scoring, to doing sound design for television and movies and stuff that I really fell in love with while I was at school, in just different ways and just get checks, you know what I mean? So it really opened up my eyes to that. You know what I mean? So I really don't, I wouldn't change anything. I would do it all over again. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And that's what it's about, diversifying your portfolio, because sometimes that's all you really need is for somebody to put a different viewpoint in front of you. Because we can have that one tunnel vision. I'm going to be a producer. And then it's like, wait a minute. I didn't know none about this aspect and this way for me to get these coins this way. So, going to school absolutely play, because I'm a huge advocate for education. So I'm so happy that you even touched on that. So as we talk about, absolutely. So as we talk about, diversifying your portfolio, of course on the G Code, we talk about the pretty, the ugly, and the grind. So for you in your career thus far, what has been your pretty experience?
You said the pretty experience?
Yeah.
The pretty, it's a couple things. I signed a deal, so that was beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Like that was wonderful. That just gave me just the freedom to do, music full time. You know what I mean? So that's awesome. And then it's just like, with music, that's my passion. So every day I get up, it's not a job. I love to get up and work with music. And then I would say just the different relationships that it's brought me. You know what I mean? I got friends that are actors or, these celebrity artists that I'm cool with, and I call like my brothers or my sisters, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah, music has definitely, done that. That's kind of been the pretty side of it, kind of like the I don't want to say status, but just the, I don't know, everything that has come with the music, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Now, Now you have had a chance. I just remember, definitely you was able to go to the Grammys as well, right? For the nod that they gave.
You said what? Was I able to go?
Yeah, you was able to go to the Grammys?
Actually, that year that I was nominated, I actually didn't go. I just went out there for, Grammy weekends. There's so many events going on.
Right.
So I just actually went out there and chilled and went to the different events and, industry parties and all that. This year, I actually might go to the Grammys. I'm not nominated this year, but I plan to go out there, so.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of the nomination, like, what was that? Because that's truly a pretty, that's a high that some people who've been in the industry for a long time don't even get. And you coming out the gate, you're 26, you're still young, you're not even reaching a prime time yet, and you have a nod for a Grammy. So
Right.
what was that experience like, finding out, and then also just the process? And, I'm sure you wasn't even disappointed when you didn't get it. Like, it's like, yo, I got a nomination.
Yeah. I mean, of course, you want to win,
right?
You know what I mean, and say, you have that Grammy winning title, but the nomination is just as good, and it just kind of blew my mind when I found out, you know what I mean, and just how it all came about. I gotta thank my big bro, Polo the Don, Supa music producer, one of the game's best to ever do it. He called me. And he said, hey, Sean Paul is coming to the studio. I want you to work with him. And so we did the record, and then he put Iggy on it, and then it went on this album, and then next thing I know, the album got nominated, you know what I'm saying? So that was a crazy feeling. Just because for me, it was like, I do the rap and the R&B, and, that's what comes natural,
right.
The hip-hop and everything. So to get one in a reggae category was, like, crazy. It just showed, just how, the sky's the limit, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Absolutely. And then you're working with someone like Sean Paul, who is...
Right.
in our era, it was just like everything to everybody at that time. Give Me the Light, taking it all the way back to that, and watching his videos and just really loving his energy. So I'm sure, somewhere in you, when you're working with these artists that you once watched on television, we watched on 106 & Park, like, what is that feeling like?
Man, it's crazy you say that, because one of my closest friends in the industry is Lloyd.
Wow.
And I remember being in my room, and I remember when Lloyd came out, you know what I'm saying, and watching him on 106 & Park, and you know what I mean? So
right.
It's crazy that now I pull up to his house and just walk in, and I'm, cool with his girl and his brothers, and, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just weird, you know what I mean? It just showed how far I've come. That's just one example. I have so many other people that I used to watch on television that I'm cool with, or I'm texting. You know what I mean? It's crazy. We're talking about this because Mario, the singer, I know he hasn't really been out in a minute, but he just texted me yesterday, just out the blue. You know what I mean? He got my contact from somebody. He texted me. And I remember when Mario came out with Braid My Hair.
Oh, my goodness. I remember that.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Just a friend, and this man just texted my phone yesterday. So I don't never take none of that for granted, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all huge to me, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Absolutely. I have one of my own stories, which is like so surreal for me. So I just was like, for you're around it a bit more than I am. So getting that perspective is just like, having to hold your own fan, the fan in you, right. Just kind of like, okay, I got to do this. This is the business. I got to act normal. And, it's really a full circle moment to go from being a person that was a spectator or watcher to now being a creator for these people.
Right.
So that's really, really dope.
Exactly.
And wherever there is a highs, there are certainly lows, right? And so,
right.
With you deciding to make such a jump, going to Atlanta, moving away from family, you're still young, going into college, we talk about, the pretty, the ugly. And the ugly is some things that we don't show on social media. We post up the fly pics, we post up the pics with the celebrities, right. The work we doing, right. But we don't really show the moments when we down on E, and it's just like, I don't know when this next check about to come. And but we all know the ugly is there, but it seems like nobody wants to speak about it. But for me, right. It's really one of those things where it's just like, yo, this is where the true essence of your success comes from, being able to rise from that time. So what have been some of the ugly moments that you have had in your experience?
Man. Man, it was ugly. Like, I was still blessed, but it was ugly. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
right.
It could have been worse. I could have been homeless. You know what I mean? Like, but I had a great support system in my parents. Like the first year or two, when I came out here, they really just helped me out. But man, I had like I said, the first year I came down here, I didn't have a car at all. So like I would have to take a cab to go to like Walmart and get groceries.
Wow.
I mean, because at that time they didn't have Uber
right
down here yet. And so I had to take a car to Walmart to get groceries, or, you know, if I wanted, you know, some Popeyes or McDonald's, I have to call a cab to come get me. And, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because other than that, I was eating like Hot Pockets every day, or like, I couldn't remember. Some days I didn't even eat, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was like that. Then the second year, I got a car. I got a hoopty. It was like a 2001.
Everybody got a hoopty story.
Yeah. Oldsmobile Alero. And man, every month something was wrong with that car. Like, literally something was falling apart, or I remember I was on the street and at a light, and it just went up in smoke. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like, and I'm like, man, what is going on? And so I'll be leaving the studio like 3-4 o'clock in the morning. I come out to my car, it won't start. I gotta call a truck driver to come get my car. Take me all the way home. You know what I mean?
Right.
I get home at 6. I gotta get up to class at 8. You know what I'm saying? Whatever money I did have, I had to put into that car just so I had transportation to get around. You know what I'm saying? It was just a lot. You know
especially when it comes to that transportation.
Say it again?
I say, especially when it comes to that transportation.
Yeah, man. That's like, I needed to make moves. I needed to, you know what I mean, to be out here and meet people and be sessions and everything like that. So, you know, financially, all my money was going there, so I didn't have no money. You know what I'm saying? And it was just, it was crazy. Sometimes I wasn't able to get home when I wanted to. You know what I mean? So, yeah, the grind was real. It was crazy.
That grind is real. You know what I mean? In Atlanta, well, not even Atlanta, in Georgia, everything is so far apart. You in this county, that county. So having a vehicle is important, but if your vehicle is a little janky and you're on a highway, them expressways, boy, I can only imagine. So, you know, that in itself, when you have to move and shake and be at different places and not having a reliable car, is truly, is indeed a struggle. And as you just mentioned, you know, the grind, it's just like, okay, you just was here in Buffalo for the Vibrations Music Conference. Big shout out to Denzel. You know, it was the dope opportunity to be on the panel with you and Sean Barron and Taj.
Likewise.
You know, it was dope. I feel like it was a room full of great wisdom, trials and tribulations, the pretty, the ugly, and the grind. It's still grinded. And, you know, like you said, you know, now you're working with this artist and that artist, and, you know, coming to Buffalo for the actual conference, you were pretty much instrumental in bringing Rotimi. And he's a true, you know, he's a new artist. Well, not so much that new, but, you know, really breaking through with his music. I got a chance to check him out when he was interviewed at SiriusXM. And of course, we all know him with Power. So it's just like you're grinding and making the necessary connections. And, you know, let's talk about the grind. You know, some of us, you know, study the art of the grind. And some people say they grinding, but they really not grinding. And what do you feel?
Really not grinding, right?
Nah. Is there's no output, no outcomes with your output. So the stuff does not equal it up, right? And so, you know, what do you feel is I would say your level of the grind, you know, and what do you feel in this time of when you're grinding, you know, how do you feel, you know, things are really working for you?
You know, I tell people that, you know, my motto is, you know, of course, like, just having faith. You know what I mean? The Bible says faith without works is dead. So it's like, you gotta have the faith, but you gotta work just as hard, or like God is not going to be in it, or he's not going to bless it. You know what I'm saying? So I had to look at myself, and I had to really just check myself, because I wasn't really grinding like I was supposed to. You know what I mean? Even when I had I remember when Let's Talk came out, my first placement, and to that point, I was coasting, and I really, I wouldn't say got lucky, it was a blessing, but it just kind of fell in my lap, the situation with Amarion and him getting the record and putting it out, you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't ready for what came after that, you know what I mean? I wasn't prepared for that. Yeah, I was working, I had a lot of music, but I wasn't prepared for every situation that came after that, these meetings and everything like that. So it taught me, like, never to be in that position again. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I tell creatives every day. If you're not working every single day on your craft, you're not really working, because, you know, I don't want to be outworked by anybody. And it's somebody that's just as dope as you, you know, across the world or across the, you know, the nation, who is working 10 times harder than you. And some people might not even be as talented as you are,
right,
but they work harder than you, and they're going to have those opportunities. You know what I'm saying? So the grind is what's really important. And like you said, a lot of people feel like they are grinding, but they're really not. You know what I mean? I'm not saying to do this, but I remember, you know, I was working so hard that I got sick. You know what I mean? Like, physically sick. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, wow, I got to chill. You know what I mean? I had to find, you know, that medium. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, when you want something so bad, you're going to go get it. You know what I mean? So the grind is super important.
Yeah, and the grind is continual, like you said. I think we all, and I have been guilty of just coasting, you know, because sometimes you feel like, yo, I'm putting in the work, all right. And I'm a sole believer in James, you know, faith without work is dead, like the body without the spirit is dead. That is my joint right there, you know, and as well as ask, seek, and knock. You got to get out here and really ask for it, seek for it, and knock at the doors of opportunity for it, in addition to being prepared for what you're asking for. And I think,
absolutely.
And I think, you know, that is definitely something that so many people miss the mark on, of, you know, they're grinding, but sometimes you're grinding in reverse. Like, I don't know if you're honestly believe that that's the work you're putting in, or have you reached out to people to show you what to do? And how has that been? Because, you know, you talked about, you know, people that you have worked with and individuals that have helped you, but how important is it of being able to watch somebody else grind and really learn from them in that aspect?
You saying how have I been able to
watch like somebody else's grind, you know?
I was actually just about to say that. So, you know, one of my mentors is Polo the Don. Anybody and everybody in the industry knows, like, Polo never leaves the studio, like, ever. He just doesn't leave. Like, he'll bring his clothes, he'll shower, everything. Like, he stays there. So I had to look at myself. Like, I remember one session, it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was just, you know, tired. I wanted to go home and go to sleep. And I had to look at him like, man, this man is worth $40 million. He don't really have to be here. He could be, you know what I'm saying, on vacation or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Chilling. But he in here grinding like he don't have a dime. You know what I'm saying? That changed my whole perspective. You know what I mean? And for me, like, now I understand why you got to go harder even when you do reach success. You know what I'm saying? We got so many songs. I got so many songs that's about to come out. And I just been pushing myself so hard, you know what I mean? Just to keep it going, you know what I mean? So, you know, it's definitely important to have a mentor, somebody that you can look up to. If you got a bunch of people who not grinding and working, you don't need to be around them, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, you gotta stay around. Yeah, you gotta stay around people that's pushing you and making you want to be better. So, yeah.
That's important. You know, they say birds of a feather flock together. So,
absolutely.
You know, the people that you're around will certainly be an influence and have a huge influence over who you are and what you are. And speaking of that, absolutely. You know, when we talk about the G code, you know, it's about the things you live by, you know, the things that you really mold your life on, in the sharing of the tips of that. So, you know, who would you say, or more so, what would you say are Keyz G codes, that, you know, codes that you live by, or codes that you have seen being in this industry that one should just never go against?
I would say kind of everything we touched on. You know, keep God first. You know what I mean? I mean, if that's what you believe in, you know what I mean, I'm not forcing nobody to believe that, but if you believe and trust in God, keep that first and keep him first at all times. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that'll be my number one. Number two will be networking. Relationships have got me so far, you know what I mean, or just had different things just fall in my lap just because of people that I knew and that I was cool with. So yeah, God first, networking, and I would say preparation. You know what I mean? Just the grind and making sure you're ready for the situation that comes to you.
That's it. That's all we got.
Yeah.
I mean, you dropped some really serious G codes. You know, preparation is everything. And so many people, you know, will work so hard and say you want this, you say you want that. And then when it comes to you and you're not prepared, and it's just like there's an opportunity missed.
Right.
So that's the trickery.
Exactly.
That's the trickery. So Keyz, I appreciate you stepping into the G code and definitely sharing your piece. Oh yes, it's likewise. You know, we got to be able to link up. I should be in Atlanta probably sometime next month, so I'll make sure we link up. I'm trying to make a couple moves out there myself.
I'm here. Let me know.
Absolutely.
I'm here.
Absolutely. Now tell the folks how they can follow you on social media, all that.
Okay. Yeah. Social media is it's Keyz Baby, ITSKEYZ BABY. All my socials, Twitter and Instagram, and y'all be sure to just follow me, hit me up. I got so much music about to come out. Like yesterday, I got a call that Bryson and Jasmine Sullivan did something to one of my tracks, so I'm excited about that. Chris Brown, Jeremiah, so much about to come out, so y'all be sure to follow me. You know what I mean? I hit everybody right back as soon as they hit me, so just hit me up.
There you go. Make sure you hit him up, support the movement, make sure you download those songs that he has played a part in. Legally download them, like iTunes, pay that money, stream them if you on Spotify or Tidal to show that they got streams. We got to make sure that, you know, he is supported in such a way. Well, Keyz, I appreciate you for getting inside the G code.
I appreciate you. This was definitely a pleasure, and
no problem.
I really appreciate it, man. Appreciate the love.
Absolutely. Well, my go-getters, you heard him. Make sure you follow him. And again, as always, welcome to the G code. Be sure to subscribe to the G Code. Find it on iTunes. Also, download ADRI.V, the Go Getta app on your Google Play or in your iTunes App Store for free. And always have the G Code at your fingertips on a daily. Want to catch up on some of the G Codes as well? Go to www.ADRIVthegogetta.com and also subscribe on SoundCloud and YouTube. And remember, you can check a new episode out each and every Wednesday as we get you over the hump with the G Code.
I was born in the G Code, embedded in my blood. Matter of fact, you just triggered a level orange G-code security threat.
And that's the G-code, the G-code, the G-code.